Right, so, very good evening, everybody. Now, this could be controversial. Well, guess what? I don't really care because I'm still going to do it. So, 2024 is general election. And I know most of you are going to be swinging the hammer for Labour. However, here's an update for you. Right. The update is I am going to be voting for a lady. Her name is Ruth Edwards. She is the MP for Rushcliffe in Nottingham. That's where I live. Now, when I moved to Nottingham 2019, we were having an issue, me and Mum. And as the Labour MP, Chi Onwurah, I think that's how you spell her name, I think, so apologies if that is not. But she is the Labour MP for Central Newcastle. And before we moved down, I had been asked by my mother and my sister to take a trip to Edinburgh, which we did. And the one thing I didn't do on that trip was take the laptop to sign in to my universal credit. Now, a lot of people bang on about MPs do absolutely nought except sit on their backsides, etc. Well, I got news for you. It ain't all that. You see, Chi, who was the Labour, and she still is, the Labour MP for Newcastle Central, I basically got in touch with her and told her that I was staying with my mum and I had had my universal credit stopped because I didn't sign in when we went up to Edinburgh. Now, to cut a long story short, okay, I was told by the job centre that I had to wait 6 weeks while they dillied and dallied and all the rest of it, like job centres normally do. Now, here's what happened. She got in touch with them and then she got in touch with me and I got my benefit all sorted out. Now, this is a Labour MP. Now, when I came down here to live in Nottingham with Mum, my mum was tired of the cold because Newcastle is a very cold place at certain times of the year. And my mum getting on, she wanted to be close to family. And we moved. However, we had issues here. And we went to see a man, and this man was called Kenneth Clarke. And we sat and spoke to him in his office in West Bridgford. And my mum wasn't very good at speaking to people, so I did the talking. And Kenneth turned around and said that I will do what I can. Well, he was successful. And just like the Labour person in Newcastle. That was 2 things that had gone correct for us anyway. And a few months later, there was a thing on the East Midlands news that Kenneth was going to be standing down. So, because he had helped, I went to see what help I could do for whoever would be the new person coming in. So that's what I did, and I joined a campaign, and that campaign was successful. Now, it was successful in getting Ruth Edwards into power down in Parliament. And since that time, Ruth has worked on a number of issues on my behalf. The last issue that Ruth worked on, and she has worked on quite a few, so she's earned my respect. And as it's coming back round to general election time, this is why I'm doing this video, to tell you lot out there that you can bang on about MPs sitting doing nothing, twiddling the fingers and everything else. You can, but you're mistaken. And here's the point, okay? I contacted Ruth again in January and February of last year. And that was because issues. The issues were with the people, the company that I rent from. And the issue was outstanding rent. And spoke to Ruth about it, and I went into the job centre on a few occasions, and on one of those occasions what I found out was this, and it blew me away when I found it out. I had been called in to Nottingham Job Centre, and there was maybe 12 people in the room, and they were talking about getting over 50s back into work, which, you know, we all want at the end of the day. Nobody wants to be on benefits because it's a survival race, which I was to find out later in the year. Now, I found out that day that those in power at the job centre, the guy I was speaking to turned round and he logged in to my account, and he said, well, according to what I'm looking at, there are 2 people living at your property. And I went, impossible. Absolutely impossible. I said, because my mum, who I was her carer, had passed away through COVID. And he turned around and he said to us, right, leave it with me, I'll have a look into it. Now, when I came home, I sent an email to Ruth, and I said what the guy had turned around and said to me. So, again, Ruth wrote to the job centre, Universal Credit, to turn around and say that I had lost my mother and it was a fault which they, to this day, did not acknowledge was their fault. Now, here's the thing. At that meeting, when I was in town, before I emailed Ruth, the guy turned around and said to us, "Oh, I see." Because he was looking at my journal and all the comments that I had posted. And in those comments, I had asked for a headstone. You only use a headstone for one thing. It's a burial. Not a cremation, it's a burial. And to this day, there's been no apology. Now, Ruth has worked with me on several bits and pieces, which is why, when it comes round to the election, I will be putting my ex in her box for the ballot. Now, what I also said to Ruth was, because in October of last year, I knew there was a change coming. The change was the Financial Conduct Authority, based in London. They were changing the rules. And I had to get in on their system. It was imperative. Now, when I emailed Ruth about this, I turned round and said to her, I have a case file number. And what I have since found out is this. The case file number covers everything that I spoke to the Financial Conduct Authority about in a 45-minute conversation. So I spoke to them about 32K TV Inc. I spoke to them about County Coin. I spoke to them about Dual Energy Inc. and others, as well as a BEP20. Now that is a Binance altcoin. And here's the thing. Because in my last email, I've asked to speak to Jeremy Hunt, which most people will hate because he used to be, I believe, somebody in the health department. And as we push forward, I've asked to speak to Jeremy Hunt and the business secretary, who is a lady. I've asked for a meeting in Nottingham. And the other day when I rang the Financial Conduct Authority again to chase things up, what they turned around and said to me was, we sent you an email, look through the email and it is big. So here's what I did. I have spoken to the job centre yesterday, who I advised them of what I plan to do. They turned around and says, well, it is good that you are wanting to get back into work full time. And I said to them, I need help and support this time, because what I've done is not a one-person job. It needs many people. So, this is why this year, in the general election, I will be voting for Ruth. Because Not only do I believe in this lady because she has worked tirelessly, but here's the best bit. If you don't ask, you're not going to get anything. And those people who turn around and say, oh, they do nought for you. Well, if you ask nothing, you're going to get nothing. So that's where I stand on this. And I'm going to be posting this up to my YouTube channel. And then I'm going to post that to Facebook. And I'm going to post a smaller video, because this one's 15 minutes now, to spread the word around. So just remember, members of Parliament, if you ask, you may get. And what you normally get when you ask a member of Parliament, you get an email back saying RE, and then it's 5 numbers. That means they're working on your behalf. So the next time you go to slag off any MP, just remember, if you haven't made a request, why are you doing the slagging off? Catch me drift? Thanks for watching. Now, more videos to come in the coming weeks as things roll forward. Anyway, I'm hoping that Ruth gets returned as the MP for Rushcliffe in Nottingham, and I'm also hoping that Ben Bradley MP also gets pushed forward for East Midlands Mayor. So I'm pushing on 2 fronts. So thanks very much for watching, and more content is on the way, and there will be jobs very soon, because what I've seen since I've been down here, these ERC 20s are badly needed. Thanks for watching.